keep her encouraged, because it's girls like her that are going to take this sport to the next level in years to come.
All right, and we are back. We are live here at 2013 Diablo Shores Pro-Am. Tad Schreiber sitting alongside Brian Detrick. Detrick, thank you. And we are in our women's head-to-head finals. Here you go. On the water, our first bracket of the day. Number 1 seed versus number 8 seed. Regina Jaquist versus youngest skier in the tournament, Bailey Austin. And Bailey out there on the water right now. So Regina must beat whatever score Bailey puts out there. And, we already seen one number 8 seed take out a number 1 seed in our Masters men. This would be, let's face facts. This would be the upset of all upsets. Your current world record holder, the most decorated women's water skier of all time, facing young 14-year-old, very good skier in Bailey Austin. It would be as exciting as possible to see that happen. But, we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Bailey's a young, up-and-coming skier, been skiing well, I believe personal best 4:38 just a few weeks ago, and definitely, at 14 years young, can be competitive here with some of these women.
Yeah, and she keeps her cool, and she does what she knows how to do. She skis for her. You never know what could happen. I can't predict the future, but we will see. And right now we've got Regina Jaquist coming into the course behind the Nautique 200. Bailey skiing behind that Mastercraft. So we've got Regina out there. This should be 28 off, I believe. And here's Regina, looking real smooth. A little warm-up pass for Regina at 28 off. And coming around 4 over to 5. And around 6, not a problem at all. And Brian, so we've got number 1 Regina versus number 8 Bailey Austin. Coming up next, number 2 Whitney McClintock will face number 7 Karen Trulove. Number 3 Gina Kruger will face number 6 Anais Ahmad. And number 4 April Kobeler will face number 5 Brienne Dodd. Those are our starting brackets. Our Masters men event, holy smokes, what a crazy event that was, with Scott Larson taking the title. Number 6 seed Scott Larson taking out number 8 seed Steve Schroeder for the title. What a great event that was.
Yeah, that was exciting to watch. Definitely a lot of upsets, probably more upsets than we've possibly ever seen in the Masters men head-to-head format.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that, in the history of these head-to-head battles, that quite possibly was the most upset-worthy brackets that I've seen.
Not just a slalom specialist and a slalom world record holder,
but we will keep things going here. Bailey Austin coming back behind that Mastercraft 2014 Pro Star, brand new boat from Mastercraft. Taking the turn in, and it's 32 off for Bailey. Slight tailwind here, Brian, for her, but doesn't seem to be affecting her. Gotta love that little hairdo she's got going on. And around 5 over to 6, and Bailey's dad, Mark, working over in South Africa right now, watching us on the webcast. Mark, what's going on? I know you're rooting for your girl. I think they call her Super Chicken. Is that correct?
I hope she doesn't mess up her.
So I'm sure Mark is over there. Not nervous at all as a father, I'm sure. Mark, if you're out there, shoot us a tweet. Give a shout out to your little girl as we just watch her run 32 off. So Brian, great weather here today. Yesterday the same. Great event so far. We're talking, we've been doing this for 11 years. I think Greg and Debbie have been putting this on. We're at a new venue this year, of course. Amazing venue in Bel Aqua here in Rio Linda, California. And you ski just about a half hour away as your home site. So you're familiar with these waters as well.
Yeah, definitely familiar. We just had the regional championships in 2011, 2012 here. Great venue. I think it'll definitely help grow this event and take it to the next level, being so close to the Sacramento region where there's a lot of water skiers. And, Greg and Debbie always put on a great event. But we got Regina coming back in the course, 32 off.
All right, here's 32 for Regina. Slight tailwind right here. But the world record holder is looking all but perfect out there on the water as she rounds 6 and out the gates. No problem at all. And we got to thank all our sponsors here this weekend, Brian. Of course, we got Mastercraft Boats. We've seen the Mastercraft new Pro Star. We've got Nautique Boats with the Nautique 200 here on site. Our ski company's Good Water Skis, D3 Skis, HO Syndicate, as well, most definitely Dublin, Toyota, Scion, Hyundai. Doing it right. If you're out here on the West Coast, check out Dublin. They're a great supporter of this event. Ski Paradise, you've seen Gordon Rathbun out here a little bit. Storley Insurance Agency, Badal's Construction Co. Who else we got over here? Global Marine Insurance, Babes Boat Care. We got Willie Ellemeyer out here with the Raptor SFE Slalom Performance Side Fin Enhancement, I believe it is. Terry Winter's using it, and he's making it look pretty good. So brand new product from Willie. You got to check that out. Pretty cool deal. Have you looked into that, Brian?
I've talked with Willie a lot about it, and being local here, like Willie, he trying to get me to try it. Just haven't found the right timing. But now the tournaments, are winding down. May look forward to trying it and seeing what it's all about.
All right, well, here's Bailey Austin at 35 off. Little tilt rise at 3 and gets to 4. Who's struggling to get to 5 and skips it out. And that's going to be all she wrote. 5 at 35 off for Bailey Austin. Having a little trouble at 3. And then going into 4 a little bit more and unable to turn the ski at 5 ball. So it's going to be 5 at 35 for Bailey. So Regina basically needs to run this pass, and she will be moving on. But getting back, the side fin enhancement. What's the concept behind that thing? Do you know?
From talking with Willie, it's supposed to help maintain direction, so you're able to create a little more space at the buoy. And obviously, if you get a better outbound direction, the ski's going to come back underneath you better as well. So from what I hear, that's what it's supposed to help. And when you get to the short lines, a couple inches here and there, or even if you get an extra foot or two, really can help out.
If she wants to
all right, well, very interesting new product from Willie Ellemeyer. And so we've got Bailey. She goes down 5 at 35. Never say never, but Regina will see if she can run this pass and see if she can move on to the next round. Here we go. Regina Jaquist, little headwind here at 35, coming into 1. Nice turnaround 1, over to 2 ball. And Regina wide and early for 3. Textbook skiing so far from Ms. Jaquist. And over to 5 ball, and she has got it. She'll be moving on. Regina Jaquist, 6 buoys at 35 off.
That's probably a dream come true for Bailey. Even though she gets knocked out, first Pro Tour event, gets into the head-to-head, and like most young ladies out there, look up to people like Regina, and one amazing opportunity to be able to ski against an idol.
Yeah, it had to be pretty cool for Bailey to go out there. As we see Regina Jaquist skiing on by, she'll be moving on. She takes that 35 off pass back to the dock. She's not going to go test out 38 right now. And we did get a tweet from Mr. Mark Austin. He was chewing on his fingernails there for a while. But loving seeing his daughter out there. And Bailey's got to be pretty pumped with her performance this weekend. Great skiing from the young lady out of Texas, Miss Bailey Austin. And we will move on to our next bracket here in just a bit, as I'm also trying to get some updates from the Under-21 Worlds. Look at this. Jody Fisher tweeting, both Jack Critchley and Tim Bradstreet both crashing hard. First out the front, second out the back, both walking away. Wow. So craziness going on down there at the Under-21 Worlds. Brian, I know you've competed in that in the past. Aged out, I believe, this year. You're an old man already. So we will move on to our next bracket. Going to be number 2 seed, Whitney McClintock versus number 7 seed, Karen Truelove. Karen talking to Freddie a little bit. She's been tweaking with the ski a little bit here and there, and nursing a sore ankle, I believe is what he said. So she's just trying to get things moving in the right direction right now. And of course, Whitney looking real dialed in yesterday. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here.
Yeah, I had the opportunity hang out with Freddie and Karen this past week. Mastercraft had a photo video shoot at my lake, so spent some time with them while I tried to get a practice ride when they weren't shooting.
Yeah.
And yeah, Karen, just trying to figure some things out. She said, skiing behind, a few different boats lately that kind of just bothered her confidence that she, really didn't have a baseline. So I was just trying to figure things out. And, she's a veteran, and I'm sure she'll be able to, get dialed here this afternoon.
All right, well, Whitney right now coming out first behind the Nautique. Of course, Whitney is a Team Nautique skier. Karen, a Team Mastercraft skier, so that worked out good. The most color-coordinated skier out here this weekend is Miss Whitney McClintock, looking pretty in pink with her pink ski, pink boots, pink gloves, pink shorts. Probably has a pink vest on under that bib as well. So Whitney taking down 28 off right off the bat.
6 buoys, 28 off.
And a little tweet shout out from Good Skis. Congratulations to Bailey Oss for making her finals in her first pro event. We'll definitely be seeing her a lot in the coming years. I agree with you very much. Good Skis, or Mr. Dave Good, whoever's doing the tweeting for you. I definitely have no doubt with a 14-year-old girl running 4:38 as a PB, we'll definitely be seeing her a lot. And, she's following in the footsteps of our world record holder, Regina Jacobs, skiing on that Good Ski. So she's doing everything right so far. So we'll see.
Talking about under 21 Worlds, I was a little surprised that she wasn't there, competing for that title. Is she a little young?
Potentially, maybe. I don't know how they do it with the rankings, but maybe at 14, maybe she's a little young. She's more in the Junior Worlds bracket. But I do know that Anna Gay was over there, and she's just 13 or 14, but maybe her ranking was a little higher. Again, don't know exactly how they pick teams and pick the independents with that one.
Yeah, those cutoff dates could be a little different, just like, our Open Worlds, it was 7 months ago from before.
All right, well, here we go. Karen Truelove on the water. She is your number 7 seed. We saw a lot of upsets in our Masters men bracket. Can Karen keep that trend going and upset her number 2 seed, Whitney McClintock, or will Whitney move on into the next round? And Karen taking down the first pass, no problem, 28 off, easy pass for her. And we'll shorten it up and come back for pass number 2. And looks like we got a couple more tweeting going on. All right, question from Dan Birch, and Brian, you might be able to help answer this, being that you've skied out here a little bit. How deep are these lakes? We talked yesterday, they're pretty shallow. Do you know about where we're sitting?
Here at Belacqua, it's probably one of the most shallow lakes. I think we're only about 4.5 feet deep.
All the way through?
All the way through.
Wow, so that's got to affect the way your ski performs on the water, too, then?
Yeah, definitely. Doesn't ride as deep as some other lakes, depending what part of the country you're from or what type of lake you're skiing on.
All right, and talking with Freddie a little yesterday, yeah, we did notice a lot in the men's and in the women's division, a lot of tail skips, tail sliding out, and potentially, like you said, ski not riding as deep as what some people are comfortable or used to. So maybe potentially some people tweaking skis or just tweaking body position coming in the turn. We'll see what happens here. Whitney McClintock, 32 off, around number 1, over to 2 ball.
Well, we had to read it.
Coming in around 3 and over to 4. Whitney looking good at 32. This is warm-up pass number 2 for her as Whitney takes down slight tailwind, 32 off. All right, and keep the tweets coming in. TADDH2OZ. TADDH2OZ, hit me up. Thanks everybody for watching again. Thanks to webcast-tv.com. Check us out at diabloshores.com, ballofspray.com. Let your friends know if they can't make it out here, if they want to sit back, relax on a nice Sunday afternoon or evening, depending on where you're at. Text them, tweet them, email them, Facebook them, whatever. And tell them to check out the Diablo Shores ProAm going on right now. We are in our women's event here. We got Whitney McClintock versus Karen Truelove. Karen coming up next at 32 off.
Tad was looking at this matchup. We always talked about with head-to-heads, there's strategy involved. So it looks like Whitney opted to go out first.
Potentially, or she chose what boat she wanted to ski behind.
That is true. From my guess, I think maybe she chose first, knowing that Karen, being a Mastercraft skier, would choose the Mastercraft, which then she would get her Nautique that she's comfortable with as well.
That's very true. A lot of options here, a lot of strategies going on. with these skiers, and we'll see if it pans out for Whitney or if Karen can take her down. As Karen Truelove coming in the course 32 off, looking just flawless around 4. Nice lean out of 4 coming into 5, over to 6. Around 6 on that good ski right there. So Karen Truelove matching Whitney at 32 off. And Mark Austin shooting another tweet out there. Loving the webcast, and go Regina, get it for Team Good. Thanks to the Good family for all the support from Mark and his daughter Bailey, who we saw in the first bracket. So pretty cool to know. We've had tweets from Europe as well to know that we are worldwide at this point. And keep the tweets coming in. Love to hear from you here at the Diablo Shores Pro-Am. And Brian, you know, I see on the right side of me Karen's husband Freddie intently watching this event. He's got the video camera out. You know, this guy, as much as he studies when he jumps and he goes out and surveys the lake and surveys the competition, he's probably times 10 when it comes to Karen skiing and surveying everything. And he's a scientist on the water. Whether it be jump or, as we have learned here, he is pretty smart when it comes to slalom too. Yeah, definitely. He's very technical, and even though we never see him out in the slalom course, he knows how to coach and help her at her best. All right, well, Whitney making her way through 35, looking good at 5 ball, over to 6, and not a problem at 35 for Whitney McClintock. If she takes it down, Karen Truelove coming up next. As we said earlier, if you're just tuning in now, the way these head-to-heads work, the second skier must beat the first skier's score. That's going to go all the way through to the super final. Sometimes, you know, at different events, different rules, the rules change, but the way we're doing it here, the second skier must beat the first skier's score. So that's going to play in that strategy that you were talking about a second ago, Brian, with Whitney potentially choosing to go out first. That's just a guess on our part, of course, but it makes a little bit of sense. She's going, hey, I'm going to put up a score, Karen, and you must beat it. Any tie, Whitney will win. Well, watching yesterday, this is the best I've seen Whitney ski all year after coming off that injury she had last year at Soaked. So it's good to see her back at, you know, full potential and you know, having a run for the money again. That's right. I mean, she won the Calgary Shootout, the Mastercraft Pro Shootout in Calgary just a month or so ago. So she's looking to back that up with a Diablo title, and we will see if she can get through this round and make it through the next, and we'll see what can happen here. Karen has a couple titles under her belt as well throughout her illustrious career, so we'll see if she can add to that this weekend as she makes her way down the course at 35, around 5 ball, and over to 6. Karen Truelove, all 6 at 35, so both skiers coming back 38 off. Brian, the wind picking up a little bit, I'd say 4 to maybe 6 miles an hour at this point. Not too much, you feel a little gust rate as I say it, but shouldn't be enough to affect them too bad out there. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's much effect on the water. Maybe on the body there may be a little more, but like you said, it's been a little up and down all morning, but definitely nothing too bad where it's going to affect the skiing. All right, well, they're letting the water chill out here, which literally takes about 15 seconds. But I believe they're giving about 45 second sit time, 50 second sit time at the end of the lake before we pull the next skier in. So we will get Whitney back up as I speak behind that Nautique 200. That is her Tobota preference, of course, a Nautique team skier. And here we go around the island. First 38 off for our women today. Here comes Whitney McClintock into the course. 38 off the line. Around 1. Big turn around 1. Holy smokes. Nice and easy over at 2. Hammer down at 3. Ponytail flowing around 4. Around 5, and a little bit of a rope hit, but nothing to stop her from getting to 6. Holds on to the slack and out the gates, Whitney McClintock. And look at this, Brian, a tweet from Mark Poppleton, Canadian friend of Dave Miller's, watching from Istanbul, Turkey. We've got viewership in Turkey. That's a first out of any of the webcasts that I've done. Viewership from Turkey, so pretty cool. Thanks, Mark, for checking it out. sorry about your buddy Dave. Had a little incident with the gates this morning and got knocked out in the first round. But we'll see Dave again. He is one of the best when it comes to the Masters men. So I'm sure we will be seeing Dave here in the future.
Yeah, Dave had the I believe the top score yesterday. Did you run 3-4 at 41?
This was Friday, I believe. Yeah, Friday, he did have 3 or beyond at 41. He was our top seed. So I know Chad Scott hit a 2, and Greg as well, I believe, hit a 1.5 or a 2 also. So, all right, here we go. Karen Truelove coming into the course. 38 off. She's got to run it to keep her hopes alive to move on to the next round. We'll see if she can't get it together. Decent 1 ball right there for Karen. Pulled pretty long for 2. Nice turnaround 2. Going to take it easy around 3. Ooh, a little bit of a hitch at 3. She's got her work cut out for her here. Good turn at 4. Checks it at 5. And look at this. Karen Truelove taking down 38 off.
All right.
Wow.
That was a nice tailwind.
Strong skiing right there for both these young ladies.
Yeah, they both managed each pass very well. Like you said, a little slight tailwind, but they knew where they were at in the course. And Karen, just checked 5 just to caution and got on her way. May I need to take a little notes there on that 5-ball checkup. Been a little struggle of mine here.
That's true, right?
Last couple pro events.
We got 1 more buoy after 5. That's it.
There's six buoys in the course.
We're seeing one of our on-site announcers, Mr. Mike Parsons. That guy, great announcer, great skier. Of course, father of Nick Parsons. Mike, always fun to hear on the mic, and I'm taking cues from these guys because they got the radio. They know a little bit more than we do up front, so got to keep our ears out for Mr. Mike and Tom. Of course, gotta love Tom. He's been doing this for years. He's kind of a legend when it comes to announcing water skiing. But ladies and gentlemen, here we go. 39 off for Whitney McClintock. A little down course at 2. She's gonna have to make something up here. Does pretty good at 3 and just inside 4. So Whitney 3 at 39. That's a big score right there, Brian. I mean, there's a crack in the door. I'd say a slight crack. It's unlocked. But, Karen's got to, put up one of the biggest scores of the season for her if she wants to take down Whitney right now.
Yeah, definitely a solid score, but, the door's still open. Karen's, definitely capable of getting her way down 39, and but, it's a tough obstacle ahead.
Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, but has the wind potentially switched a little bit?
Yeah, it's kind of from the direction they're coming from right now. It was, a little headwind, crosshead, and now it's a little more cross, and which definitely, coming into 4-ball there for Whitney, had the wind coming into her.
It's been the same way all weekend long until literally this minute or so. It would have been a headwind 39, and Whitney right around when she was skiing. Yeah, you're right. It swirled a bit. It's not for sure cross. I mean, I feel the cross coming, but it almost still feels a little swirly. So we'll have to wait and see if that affects Karen at all. But here you go, 39 off for Karen Truelove. Wheelies out of 1, pulls really long to 2, gets around 2 over to 3, and that's going to be it. Gets 3 at 39. So you know what they say, tie goes to the first skier. Whitney McClintock going to be moving on. Karen was in it. She had a big 2-ball to get her to 3, but just unable to get that direction. Pulled real long into 3 just to get around it. Whitney McClintock moving on by the skin of her teeth.
Well, pretty smart move there for Karen, because they're not running off 3rd through 8th at all, so it's just based on your top score from that round that you got eliminated in. So that 3 puts her pretty strong into a fifth place possible position.
All right, so we see both skiers skiing back. As I've said before, second skier must beat the first skier. There was a tie, so Whitney will be moving on. Solid skiing from both these competitors, though.
Our next pairing is the 3-6. We've got number 3, Gina Hunter, against number 6, Anais Ahmad.
Okay, so Whitney's moving on to the next round, and we're going to get to our next bracket here. Number 3, Gina Kruger, who scored 1:39 yesterday, versus number 6, Anaïs Ahmad. Good, solid matchup. 2 Europeans out here. We have from France, Anaïs, and from Germany, I believe, Gina Kruger. And Gina, young skier on the scene, but has been putting up some pretty cool scores here this summer, so definitely one to be watched. So we got Gina versus Anaïs, and then our last bracket here in the first head-to-head will be April Colwell versus Brienne Dodd.
Yeah, I think Gina just got a third at the Europeans. I'm not sure if Anaïs competed in those, but yeah, Gina, young skier coming on the scene, and should be a good matchup here.
Yeah, definitely going to be a fun matchup right here. The winner of this will take on Whitney McClintock. The winner of April versus Brienne will take on Regina Jaquist. That's going to be how that stands. And for those of you at home who have just tuned in, we are in the thick of things with our pro women head-to-head. Following this, we're going to go into our pro men's head-to-head. Number 1 seed Chris Parrish going to take on number 8 Carlo Elias. Number 2 Nate Smith taking on number 7 Jason McClintock. Number 3 Will Asher taking on number 6 Nick Parsons. And number 4 Fred Winter taking on number 5 Thomas de Gaspari. And here we go, a couple more tweets going on out here. Look at this, Dan Oliver shooting a tweet with some updates from the under 21 Worlds as we get into our third bracket here. And it looks like Gina choosing to go out first against Anaïs. And Gina looking good at 28 so far. Both these skiers, I believe, on the Sans Rival skis. So around 6 and out the gates for Gina Kruger. And Dan letting us know Jack Critchley didn't make the jump, landed on his face. Tim Bradstreet out the back 50 meters, a lot of pain in the knee. But the winner of the under 21 men's jump, Daniel Everstrom. Daniel Everstrom, congrats to him with a 64.6 meter jump. So congrats. If anybody else out there is watching us, if you can tweet me, top 5, top 6, or even the bracket that they've got online, that would be awesome. I'd love to see what our top men's and women's jumpers of the under 21s did. We are here live at Diablo, but love all the action going on here this weekend. I know we had a pro jump tournament in St. Louis last night. Midwest Nightfly, one of your Cali boys, Brian Kinney, took the title. So pretty cool. We got three big events going on in one weekend here for water skiing. So pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, Brian Kinney and Storm Seltzer.
That's right.
Storm from here.
Storm's
in
coming
California.
back, huh?
He's up in Washington where Jumpland. He's skiing with Goodman's, jumping real well. I was at a record up there. He jumped 2:14, I believe.
5.5, yeah.
5.5.
Pretty cool stuff. Well, here we go. Anaïs Ahmad on the water. Anaïs from France, now living down in Miami, training with Aaron Larkin down there. And here you go. Anaïs through all 6, 28, not a problem.
Appreciate the sponsors that they have. And what is changing there for?
Well, I can't tell you what you changed from, but I can tell you what you changed to a Monte Carlo water ski.
All right. So these girls going to shorten up to 32. Brian, and it looks like the wind has started to go straight back down the pipe. We had just a 5-minute swirl sesh with it, but now straight back down the pipe, so it'll be a tailwind 32 for these girls. Don't foresee any problems, but don't want to get ahead of myself. But 32 should be something that they're capable of getting through.
Yeah, it looks like the crowd's, starting to pile in.
Yeah.
We're getting some good shots down the shore. Had a pretty good day yesterday. It ended up, filling in with the towards the end of men's slalom.
Yeah, definitely got a good solid crowd here. I mean, it is just 11 o'clock in the morning here out in California. The East Coast football games have started, so we are here watching some great water skiing. And here comes Gina, around 1 at 32, over to 2 ball. Coming around 3 and over to 4. And Gina not having an issue with 5 and pulling to 6. And out the gates, Gina Kruger. Through 32 off. All right. And big thanks to Boris Laval correcting me. I was incorrect, Boris. I'm sorry. Anaïs is on the MC skis. Monte Carlo. I apologize for that. Boris. I do apologize. Yes, the Monte Carlo skis. Boris, I believe, it's his ski company.
Yeah.
And I did get a rundown from Dan Oliver. Thank you, Dan. Daniel Everstrom taking the top spot under 21 men's jump. And then Kamil Boriswitz from Poland, number 2. Tobias Havara from Norway. Martin Coleman, Taylor Garcia, Eduardo Barrio. That's the top ones from the men's jump. And we'll get into our top women's jumpers here in just a moment from the under-21s down in Winter Garden, Florida. So some new names for me seeing down there at the under-21s. And here we go with Anais rocking that MC ski at 32 off. Coming in around 2. Over to 3 ball for Anais. Oh, there you go, coming into 4, and not going to have an issue, Brian, at 32. She's got that one in the books.
Yeah, another nice warm-up pass, you know, feeling the water out this morning. Just real nice, still upper body, patient, letting the ski come around.
All right, in our under-21 ladies jump, Jacinta Carroll took the title. And silver, Taryn Grant out of Canada. Bronze was Fuji Morgan, followed by Maria Luisa Pagini. Charlotte Wart, Giannina Bonneman, Chiara Bonneman. Those are the top ones in the women. So, Dan, thank you so much for shooting that my way. And look at this, even more from Dan, our men's overall. Let's see it load up. We got Tim Bradstreet taking the men's overall goal, Martin Coleman, Dorian Llewellyn, Dan Everstrom, James Earl, Dylan Schaefer, Tanguy Dylan. And that's where we stand on that. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it, bud. I love seeing all these scores. Got to keep up with them. You know, they are the future of the sport.
Yeah, definitely. And it seems like Dan's everywhere. He's always on top of, you know, all the events, even when you got multiple events going on. I'm sure he's the one updating everybody, you know, about this event.
All right, well, here we go. We've got Gina Kruger on the water. This is 35 off. Very, very slight headwind. Gina taking the turn around 3, going over to 4 ball. Around 5, and she has got this one in the books. Gina Kruger, no problem. And one more update from the under-21s, thanks to Dan Oliver. Women's overall, Jacinta Carroll taking the title there, followed by Giannina Bonneman, Erica Lang, Lauren Morgan, Taryn Grant, and Chiara Bonneman. So those are the tops in the women's under-21, so pretty cool on that.
I think I saw Jacinta had a really good slalom or trick, which I think really helped her
more than likely,
with that
yeah.
overall.
Yeah, and you know, you saw young Miss Erica Lang up there in the overall, who she didn't win tricks. Iris Cambrai won tricks, but she had to have a pretty solid trick score to get herself up that high as well. All right, well, we're going to get Anais Ahmad behind that Mastercraft Pro Star coming around the island as we speak. And keep the tweets coming in, TADDH2OZ. We'll be happy to read them for you here live online. Thanks to Webcast-TV. Here you go. Anais Ahmad on the water. 35 off on the MC skis. Nice turn around 2, over to 3 ball.
35 off.
A nice, very technically sound skier. Definitely looks like she's got those keys, those points in her head. This is where I need to be at this buoy. This is where I need to be at that one. And hits it at least every time on that pass.
That's right. Like I mentioned before, you know, she's a real patient skier. You know, does all the work behind the boat, patient out of the turn, and is always in the right body position at the right time.
She does not want to be told. But the Karen Kulov goes by Karen Kulov. Yeah. But probably slash Kroger on her signing of something. I don't know. Looking at April. It really doesn't matter.
All right, so we're shortening up the line to 38 off here, Brian. Will tailwind, the breeze has picked up, for sure. It's definitely something to notice if you're out there as a skier. It's just a little more solid. It's not strong yet, it's just more solid, I'd say. You can see a slight ripple on the water, but 38 off for Gina Kruger. She ran this yesterday. Can she do it again to put the heat on Anais Ahmad? Here comes Gina around 2. Little bit of a pull out of 2. Coming in the hot out of 3. Handle at the shoulders. Gets around 4, and pops the handle around 4. So 3.5 at 38 for Gina Kruger there. She had a little trouble at 2. You saw the handle go up to her head at 3, and did everything she could to get around 4, just couldn't hold on.
Yeah, it looked like she had a big one, so got a little loose line added 2, just with so much speed into 2, and just tried to manage it, and looked like she could have maybe stayed outbound a little longer, out to 4 to get that line to tighten up. But
it looked like as well she didn't have both hands on the handle right there at the end, so just maybe have an issue maintaining the balance there too. A lot of things need to happen for her to get the full 4, which would have been that's a big half buoy right there, Brian. She got that full 4. Which would mean that Anais would need a piece of 5. At this point, Anais needs full 4, and that is it, and she'll be moving on.
Just like our last grouping, it's a good score, but the door's still open. Like you mentioned, we got the looks like a straight head tail right now, tailwind coming in for Anais, and a little shorter setup down at this end. In the past, with regionals being here and other tournaments, people a little tricky at this end. So combination with the tailwind, we'll see how it goes.
All right, the tailwind may have taken Gina by surprise right there, so we'll see if Anais can handle it. Around 1, gets sit up just a bit around 1, comes into 2 pretty solid, over to 3, and she checks it, does just enough, gets around 4, and does a lot more than just enough as she gets around 5. Anais 4.5 at 38, and she will be moving on.
Always fun to see last year I did my PB here, and I love playing.
Well, that was great skiing. Again, managed the course really well. Got stood up a little bit out of 1, but stayed composed, and got over to 2. Had a great 2-ball over to 3, and just did what it took to advance to the next round.
She kept her cool. It almost looked like she checked up on 3, but if that's a checkup, it still got her to 5. You're right. She got stood up out of 1 a bit. She had a pretty solid 2, and you saw she was in plenty good shape at 3, to get around 4, and she kept it moving, she kept it going, she got to 5 and popped it out of that. But Anais Ahmad moving on, she's going to face Whitney McClintock in this next round. And we got one more bracket right now in our first section of the head-to-heads. Number 4 seed April Coble-Eller going to take on number 5 seed Brienne Dodd. And Brian, this gets interesting. Both these skiers are Mastercraft skiers. Both had input into the new Mastercraft boat. So April with the higher seed, she gets either the option of choosing the boat or choosing when to go first. So Brienne's going first, which makes me think April chose the Mastercraft. Brienne chose to go out first to make April beat her. So there's all these strategies into play, and there's not one right strategy. It's just which one is going to work for which skier. And Brienne behind the Nautique at 28 off, looking good so far, and around 5 over to 6, and not sure who I was speaking with earlier, if it was you or not, but Brienne overcoming a bit of a heel injury, I believe, so just kind of getting things back in the swing of things for her, and she looks pretty good so far.
Yeah, she had a little knee injury. She was also out at short line with the Mastercraft stuff, so got to hang out with her a little bit, and it was actually her first practice ride on Monday. She skied over the line, and ripped the ski back to the other side and kind of flung her around a bit, and kind of strained something. She actually went to an urgent care and got an X-ray and got it looked at, because she tried to go free ski, and it was a lot of pain. So she it's only free skied a couple times. So yesterday was the first time she had finally hit the course in a couple days.
Wow, didn't realize that. Let's see. We'll see if she can keep things moving. Can't tell. Haven't seen if she's looking in pain out there, but definitely something to pay attention to on her next pass. But here we go. April Coble-Eller on the water. Around 1. I said it yesterday. I'll say it again. April Coble, classic April style. You can spot April from a mile away. with the reach, with the head turn, everything. And there she is around 6, and she's been doing this for a few years now, and she has probably run more 28 offs, Brian, than I've gotten up on a slalom ski. So she knows exactly what she's doing on the water. And, she knows she's got tough competition with Brienne Dodd right here. So we'll see what happens. And here we go, a couple more shout-outs. Boris giving a shout-out to his girl Anais. Moving on to the next round, good skiing, and we got a couple more here. Steve Blackler. Good luck to Brienne from the skiers of Lake Osoyoos. Excuse me, not sure if I said that right. In Orville, Washington. The Lake Brienne spent her summers learning to ski. Oh, cool. And Nathan Owen McGarry watching some great skiing at Whitworth Water Ski in the cold north of England. Come on, Brits, Fred and Will. So a big shout out to Fred Winter and Willie Asher from Nathan. Thanks, guys, for watching. We appreciate you tweeting in. Keep them coming. TADDH2OZ.
Now, I noticed that they spread the weld, though. Isn't Aaron Larkin a radar skier?
All right. Well, Brian, here we go. 32 off for Brienne Dodd, and we'll see that tailwind is there. Again, not real strong, but very consistent at this point. So you're going to have to take that into account. And I see on Brienne's knee right there, she's got some of that sports medical tape. And and Brian, I know you've used that stuff before. What exactly does it do? I've just seen it on some of you guys.
It helps with stability, especially, for the knee. They, put it around, try to give the knee a little more support without having the bulkiness of a brace.
Okay, pretty cool. I've never really known exactly what that stuff does. It just looks like like an art project on your body or something.
Yeah, I've only used it a couple times, just trying it out. I know having some friends playing NCAA at St. Mary's where I went, a lot of the basketball, volleyball players would wear it, and some of the tape stays on for a while. I mean, you could use the same, keep it on there for a week, even with showers and things like that. So definitely, athletes say they get benefit from it. I know Parrish has got it on his shoulder. About the last year and a half or so, he seems like to be a common thing for him. So it must, do something for these skiers.
All right, we got a couple more tweets coming in. I'll read them here in a second, but right now we've got April Coble-Eller at 32 off. And classic April, watch this. Turn your head right. There you go. And here she comes in 3. Turn your head left, April. She listens to me, I'm coming into 4. And just smooth as silk, April Coble-Eller through 32 off. Great skiing. We'll get both these young ladies shortened up to 35 off. And we got a question here, Brian, and maybe you can shed some light on this from Dan Birch. What are your thoughts regarding the chatter about the gate rules changing controversy? This is new to me. I think I've seen some stuff on message boards. I kind of stayed away because I just want to go out and ski and not real worried about it at this point. But have you can you help us out with this a little bit?
Yeah, he's talking about Gordon Rathbun. He's grown up. I've grown up with him around here, skiing a lot in California. Ski Paradise as well, and he's got a proposal in to. Not quite sure if it's the IWSF or they got to start with the USA Water Ski to change the right-hand gate ball. I think move it back about 14 meters, so a pretty significant distance. So it could be easier on beginners and things like that.
Move the gates back,
so closer to the 55. So basically, it'd be impossible to miss your gates. For me, I like the gates where they're at, and
wow. Hold that thought, Brian. We'll get right back to it. As Brienne Dodd here at 35 off, around 3 ball, over to 4, and coming into 5, over to 6, and Brienne around 6 and out the gates. I've seen Gordon here on site, so I'd love to chat with him. Maybe he could get his thoughts out more, but I don't know if I'm understanding you correct. You're moving the gates closer to the 55s, but you'd still have to go between both gates, so you'd end up having to start way earlier for...
You'd only be moving the right-hand gate ball. The left-hand gate ball would stay the same, but the right-hand gate ball, so you'd have a enormous window,
a big diagonal
to go through.
Got it. Okay, now I understand.
And I think it's a lot with unfortunately with Nate Smith and some of the other skiers at big events missing their gates, and you know, me personally, when we're at, you know, pristine lakes like here at Belle Aqua or, you know, other lakes throughout the country or throughout the world, you know, there's no reason why we shouldn't be going through the gates. But something like Soaked where, you know, we're going 32 miles an hour and, you know, or Moomba where, you know, we've got a current and the boat, you know, the buoys are actually moving out there, then something like that, you know, I could see not judging the gates. But, you know, when we're skiing at awesome lakes like this site here, then I think the gates, you know, definitely should stay the same.
Very interesting, very interesting. Well, here's April Coble-Eller at 35 off and around 2 ball. Turn your head to the left. Look at that. Turn your head to the right, April. Okay, and she's coming over to 5 ball, and April on the line out there, man. She is looking dialed in. I know she's been out here probably with the Mastercraft boat test and photo shoots and everything going on to your lake for the past few days. And April having you know, a hand in the design along with her husband Chris Eller and a lot of their other pros as well as many other people. But yeah, you know, if I happen to see Gordon around, I saw him yesterday. I definitely would love to get him here on the mic, have him state his case and maybe help everybody viewing understand a little more. So if you happen to see him, Brian, tell him to hop on over. I'd love to chat with him. It's been a couple years since I talked with Gordon.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, nobody better than Gordon, too, you know,
exactly,
discuss the issue because he's definitely, you know, the man behind it all and has his reasons for why he thinks it'd be best for the sport.
And, you know, Gordon, one of the best coaches out there as well, you know, very great theorist when it comes to slalom and not afraid to test anything, especially outside the box with equipment, with coaching methods, with boats, with and, of course, with this Gates proposal, too. So here we go, though. Back on the water, Team HO skier, Brianne Dodd, 38 off the line. Ooh, gets a little back out of 1, but comes into 2 okay. Over to 3 ball and drops her shoulder, pops the handle. 2.5 at 38 for Brianne Dodd. You know what, though? Very solid performance, especially coming off, you know, with a current injury just this week. You know, she was in it on that pass. She had a great 1, kind of fell back a little maybe out of 1, but still solid in the 2. And you know, you don't know if that little hit there at 3 might have tweaked her knee a little bit too.
Yeah, you know, she's still looking good, and for, you know, not able to ski the course or even have much time on the water this past week, still respectable skiing. You know, she ran 38 yesterday in the second round, and you know, kind of Brianne's nemesis kind of been that left shoulder down at 1-3. She, you know, kind of gets a little deep, and you know, she's working on it. You know, when she figures it out, and you know, she's, you know, awesome skier, and you know, she, you know, drops the lit a little bit. You know, it could be hit and miss. I know you were in Calgary. She dropped the shoulder quite a bit, you know, 138, but, you know, scrapped it out and was able to get through it. So, you know, it's hit and miss out there. And, you know, we talked about lake being a little shallower, you know, maybe not able to get away with it like she was able to at a little deeper and as well colder lake in Calgary.
Very good point there, Brian. We'll see Brianne walking to the shore just ahead of us right here, but on the water, April Coble-Eller just hopping on that good NXT this year, and it's so far today, this weekend has done her well. April coming into the course around 1, nice and easy around 2, over to 3. She's got to get a full 3 here. Oh my! And you know, she gets it and gets to 4 and keeps it going. But I'll tell you this, Brian. She almost went down there around 3. That handle was up over her eyes, and I could read the entire bottom of the ski to the fin box, but strong enough, composed enough to keep it moving, and she just ran the pass.
Yeah, there wasn't much ski in the water there at a 3, and kind of everybody on shore, you know, kind of paused because wasn't sure if she was going to be able to pull it out. And you know, like a veteran like she is, you know, able to keep composure and get her way over to 4 and run the pass, move on to the next round.
All right, so our next brackets are set. It'll be number 1 seed Regina Jaquist versus number 4 April Coble-Eller, and number 6 Anais Amand versus number 2 Whitney McClintock, right here at Diablo Shores ProAm 2013 at Belle Aqua. And looks like we might be lucky enough to be joined by Miss Brianne Dodd. Brianne, catch your breath here for a second. If I had a towel, I'd let you dry off too. But Brianne, there you go. Let's see here. Take off your gloves. We'll chat with you here in a second. checking out the tape on the knee. I definitely want to get a word in on that one. Oh, you're good. So sitting here with Brienne Dodd, who just got off the water. Brienne, good skiing. I know you're coming off a bit of an injury this week.
Yeah, I flew out on, I guess I've been here a week now, on last Sunday, and went to get some training at Shoreline Lakes. And first slalom set, I tweaked my knee a little bit,
Wow.
so been icing, resting up for this event, but definitely no excuse. I mean, I should have ran that.
Well, solid skiing this weekend for you, Brienne. I
Thank
mean,
you.
I know, you know, it's. I see the tape down on your knee, just trying to hold things together, I guess.
I think it's more so. I don't think it's doing anything. I ended up getting x-rays, so nothing's broken or anything, and it's just some cartilage damage. So I will ice up this week and take a little bit of time off and be ready to go for the Worlds at the end of November.
Well, good to hear. That is nothing serious. Love seeing you out there ski on the water. You know, I thought you were going good there at 38, and you just maybe got a little hitch right there at 3, huh?
Yeah, I thought I had a pretty good gait, but I really it challenges me switching back boats, but back and forth. But yeah, I didn't get the release I wanted to get into 3. I just kind of got air rallied into it, and
that's all she wrote.
Yeah.
I imagine, and we've asked a couple skiers, I imagine April was the higher seed. I imagine she picked the Mastercraft.
Yeah,
and
she did.
You chose to go out first because that was the options that you guys had. And with both of you being Mastercraft skiers, April said, "Oh, I'm going behind the Mastercraft. Make Brienne go behind the Nautique."
Yeah, that's why you want to be the higher seed. You got to choose.
Yeah, and of course, like you said, skiing behind the boat you're more comfortable with is definitely an advantage. And you know, the Nautique's a great boat, but that's not what you train behind normally.
Yeah, I mean, both of them are amazing boats, but yeah, I train behind the Mastercraft every day, so
yeah.
Definitely feels like home for me.
Well, thanks for chatting with us. Go ice up the knee.
Thank you.
You know, watch the rest of the action on our great skiing, and we'll see you soon at the Worlds.
Thanks.
All right, and while we were chatting with Brienne, we had our next bracket going. Regina Jaquist came out on the water and took down 32 off. And back out on the water, we saw her just a few moments ago, April Coble-Eller, and not having any issue at 32 as well. So Regina versus April, no rest for the weary, as April Coble-Eller literally was just on the water and is back out there facing the world record holder, Regina, right now. And let's see here. We got a couple more shout-outs for the Brits from Adam Kerr, Freddie Will, Rip It Up from CN Watersports at Pine Lake, northwest of England. Thanks, Adam, for shooting in the tweet and watching. Hope you guys are having a good time. Almost, evening over there in the UK right now. So maybe a little cold beverage, hooking up the webcast to your TV and checking out the action on the water. We'll get Regina and April coming back here at 35 off in just a few moments. And we'll see if we got any more tweets out there as Brian sits back down. He was chatting with his HO teammate Brienne. Brienne a little dejected, as is understood, not able to move on any further, but a solid performance and gutsy performance from the young lady out of Canada for sure.
Yeah, definitely respectable. Always wants more. That's the competitor, you know, in her as well as the other ladies. We have Regina, 35 off?
This is 35. It should be 35 right here for Regina as they shortened up to start in this round. And Brian, that wind picking up ever so slightly. That's a tailwind on that pass for Regina and April coming up. So picking up ever so slightly. Still, this level of wind right here is now where you're going to have to think about the adjustments. It's just enough to get in your head and potentially change things just a little bit, I think.
Yeah, definitely. You know, somebody asked me when I first showed up here about 7:30 this morning, hey, is this wind going to die down at this time of year? You know, it just continues to pick up a little bit as the day goes on. So definitely, you know, it's going to start becoming a factor. They're starting at, 32 now, so they're going to have that 38 headwind, 39 tail. So we'll see how these ladies manage the wind.
All right, well, we got April up behind the Mastercraft right now. And I imagine the way I'm seeing things now, Regina chose to go out first. leaving April the option of the boat with April behind the Mastercraft, because otherwise if Regina would have chosen the boat, she of course would have chosen the Mastercraft to get April off. Regina doesn't really have a dog in the fight because she trains behind the Malibu, so here we go. A little tailwind 35 for April Kohlweller. She must beat whatever score Regina puts up. And April looks real nice out there. It's just an extension of her first set, if you will, being that she had all but about 30 seconds to a minute in between the time where she ran her last pass and got back on the water for her next one. So
yeah, just like Kevin Bishop of the Masters men this morning, that 4-5 seed, advantage to, ski a little later, but then you got to go back to back. And I know talking with Kevin, a little fatigue kicked in because it's, like you said, an extended set.
Well, he's old. You heard me, Bishop. Okay, so Regina going to come back at 38. April will follow. We'll see how far down the line how far down the lake these women can get. Again, at this point, Brian, wind has died a little bit. So, we'll see it. It might just kind of gust itself up throughout the day. But at the moment right now, slight breeze. That's it. So these women have got to be aware of what's going on. They could go out there at the moment that the gust picks up. And it's just kind of the luck of the draw. But with this head-to-head format, both skiers get in virtually the same conditions.
That's right. I think the wind will play the most with the gates, having the setup there. Looks like Regina's got a good start, 38 off.
All right, yeah, Regina looking good at 38. Around 4, over to 5 ball. And Regina's got this one in the bag, 38 off. Didn't even break a sweat. Didn't even break a sweat.
No, she's definitely... it's kind of separated herself from the rest of the women over the last year or so, especially with Whitney's injury. Whitney was, on her heels, and, the injury set her back a bit. But Regina's, so technical, dialed, all the time. That 39 she ran yesterday, had a wheelie at 1, and, 2 wasn't that good. Gets over to 3 by 4. She, was nice and early, just unbelievable performer out there.
All right, well, we'll get April on the water here in just a moment to see if she can't match Regina's score of running 38 off. Following Regina and April, we're going to see Anais Samad versus Whitney McClintock, and that will get us our super final bracket. Will it be April? Will it be Regina? We're going to find out here in a moment. Can April match the 38 off that Regina just threw down? Here she comes behind the Mastercraft Pro Star, April Kohlweller, 38 off.
I guess so. Yeah.
Coming in through the gates right here. Around 1, solid 1 right there for April. Over to 2. All right, she's looking good around 2. Around 3, she's hitting her keys right here. Over to 4 ball. A little bit pulled out, but not a ton. Around 5, and April Kohlweller through 38 off. Stellar skiing, both these young ladies running 38 off. And that looked easy for April. That was the best 38 I've seen her run in a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. She was totally in that pass. Had a little bobble. Lost the arms, hips back a little bit out of 4, but definitely just managed 5. And there was no checking at 5. She had a solid turn there. She's looking good on that ski. I know she just recently switched over to good, and looks like it's working for her.
4 miles an hour. These are the top women of the world.
All right, well, we're going to let the water chill here for a second. The 2013 Diablo Shores Pro Am. Thanks for tuning in on the webcast. Thanks to webcast-tv.com. You can catch us on DiabloShores.com, webcast-tv.com, or ballofspray.com. Let your friends know to check us out. We got some great action. We're here right in the midst of our women's head-to-head finals. We got our men's head-to-head finals coming up in a sec. We're at beautiful Bella Aqua Lake in lakes in Rio Linda, California. Sun is shining, and here comes 39 off for Regina Jaquez. Taking the turn in right here. Let's see if she can get through this pass like she did twice yesterday. Great turn around 2. Over to 3 ball. Regina Jaquez, just a machine out there. Around 4. Holy smokes. Regina Jaquez. That was easy, bro.
Yeah, unbelievable. I believe the first 39 of the day, none of the Masters men, I think, got through 39. And unbelievable, you know. She just knows exactly where she's at in the course.
I want to make sure they actually started at 32 off. That was so easy.
There you go. None of the big dog competitors did that today. None of them.
All right, well, April Coble-Eller has a tall order on her hands. She has got to run this pass, which, you know, I'm not sure. I think maybe she has run it once in her career, if that. If
Yeah,
not,
I think
a
4 or 5. Yeah, you know, deep. She's gotten deep before.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely's got to go run a personal best just to, you know, have a shot at taking down Regina this round. So that Mastercraft Pro Stars, you know, up around the island, coming back in the course.
All right. Here we go. April Coble-Eller, 39 off the line. Oh. And just goes to show you, Brian, that gate shot at 39 so important. The timing on it so important. April just, you know, missed her timing a little bit, I believe, and unable to get the width to get around one ball.
Yeah, that's, you know, had a little tailwind behind her and couldn't quite see the full gate shot, but yeah, it just didn't look like she got the release that she wanted and just came up a little narrow.
We have an attempt for a world record coming up.
So I can see, you know, Regina has the option of coming back in with a little, you know, headwind here, and with how well she ran that 39, I wouldn't be surprised if she came back and try take a shot here at 41.
Yeah, she is going to come take a shot at it. You know, 3 at 41 is the record, and I'll go out and I'm gonna. Here's my prediction: 2.5.
2.5. I believe. Does she have a pending 3.5? I think.
I believe so. Yeah.
A month or so ago, I believe she ran 3.5. Not sure in Texas,
Mississippi. I believe. Yeah,
I think
you are correct on that one, Brian. I still say 2.5.
2.5.
Go get a bottle of water.
Yeah, you know, so we got a little 3-5 mile an hour, you know, headwind.
All right, well, here we go. Regina Jaquez through the gates, around 1, big turn at 1, over to 2. Oh, my. And she gets a full 3. Look at that. She tied the current world record. I was off by a half buoy.
What a start. She had a great one ball, you know, maybe a little more speed than she would have liked into 2, but still managed 2 ball.
Wow.
You know,
Regina 3 at 41, outstanding. Gosh, 3 at 41. That was a great start. I mean, she got a little deep, but I think she needed to and she wanted to.
Yeah.
Had a solid 2, and then came to 3 and could have turned 3. Let's be realistic. She could have turned 3.
I think she could have, you know, but she was satisfied, you know. Maybe she's saving some for the crowd, you know. Maybe she wants to, you know, show them a little something in the finals.
Wow, outstanding skiing, and you know she did that a little bit for her confidence, and maybe to say, "Hey, Anais, Whitney, look at what I can do."
That's right. You know, definitely something that you know, goes into someone's head is, even though, you know, you're trying to focus on your own skiing, but you know, you got that in the back of the head, and you know, those two ladies are hopefully thinking about, you know, just the round that they're in and not worrying about Regina quite yet.
All right, so we're going to move to our next bracket. It's going to be number 6 seed Anais Ahmad versus number 2 seed Whitney McClintock. Whitney with her choice of either boat or which position she goes in. I'd like to think that Whitney's going to choose the nautique, which means Anais would choose the positioning, but you never know. I'm not out there on the water.
Thank you to the homeowners here.
Well, Tad, looks like, you know, wind's picking up. We're getting a little gust here again. It's straight head tail, you know. It's weather conditions just keep changing. Might be a little, you know, head cross or even that cross for a little bit, and you know, then it's up and down between, you know, 3 to maybe about 7-10 miles an hour.
You can imagine Karen Trulov skied 3 at 39 off, and she's going to end up with 5th place. Wow. What do they must be unofficial? Unfortunately.
All right, well, we're going to get going. Whitney McClintock versus Anais Ahmad.
So this
And if the on-site announcers are correct, Whitney's coming off the dock first.
No, this is the second pairing. This is the second pairing.
We'll wait and see if they're correct or not, but it is the Nautique, and I see pink. So I believe, yes, it is Whitney McClintock. Taking the turn in behind the Nautique 200.
Alright, the bright pink shoes.
Here she is, looking good at 32. And Whitney around 4 ball over to 5. Not a problem. Whitney McClintock through 32 off.
Well, it looks like kind of luck has worked out for Whitney with the boats going against kind of Mastercraft skiers. Now that I think about it, you know, Anais training with Mastercraft skier Aaron Larkin, her husband, and you know, so she's probably training behind the Mastercraft, maybe ski behind the new ProStar a few times, and you know that's what she's comfortable with. So Whitney's lucking out, able to go first. Plus, she's able to get her Nautique.
Yeah, so by all means, she knew that Anais would pick the Mastercraft. Went ahead, maybe picked to go out first. You know, we'll have to see if we get a chance to chat with either one of them later to see how it all broke down. That would be my guess, though, that Whitney knew, hey, Anais, she's skiing by the Mastercraft. I'm going to choose to go out first. She's going to pick it, and then I'll get my boat too, and you know, have it all. So we'll see if it works out for her. I mean, by all means, that doesn't mean that she's going to win. You know, that's why we do this out here on the water. So we'll see what Anais can get done, but here she comes into the course. Anais Ahmad behind the Mastercraft ProStar. And I think it's a great option that it gives these skiers to choose the boat or the position they ski in. It brings a little, you know, the strategies into play and the gamesmanship. And here we go. On the MC skis, Anais Ahmad around 5 over to 6. And she has got this one good to go. And let's see, we got... look at this from Rich Forrest. Good luck to Will and Freddie watching from Dubai, representing Team Hazelwood Ski World and the Railway Gang. Loving the coverage from Rich Forrest. Thanks, Rich. If you see my buddy in Dubai, Kyle Horton, tell him I said what's up and to bring it on back to Georgia so I can whoop his butt skiing a little bit more. Usually I do get texts from Dubai while I'm doing webcasts from my buddy Kyle, who's a pilot over there, watching, whereas you know, it's like midnight over there right now. And they're always having a big party. Apparently there's a big crew of pilot skiers over in Dubai. So they love we're all over the world right here. And planes flying overhead as we're right next to the Rio Linda private airport right there.
Yeah. Wasn't there a World Cup stop or something in Dubai, you know, 5 years ago?
I believe so. I think it was a trick and wakeboard stop. I don't know if they did slalom over there or not. But here we go. Whitney McClintock, 35 off the line. Slamming it down around 1. Nice and gentle around 2. Hooks up. Ooh. Dropped the shoulder a hair around 3, but gets it back at 4. You know, over to 5. You see that, Brian? Around 3 ball. That shoulder, that leading shoulder kind of dropped behind her a bit, but very strong young lady, and it was 35 off, which for her, you know, which is no easy pass for us, you know, us normal people, you excluded, but for you pros, 35 is, you know, still somewhat of a warm-up in most cases.
Yeah, definitely with, you know, Whitney getting down through 39 most of the time. You know, she ran 5, I believe, the first round, and then half at 41 the second. So still, you know, a warm-up pass. You see her and Regina usually start at 32 off, so this is a normal setup for them. I was thinking, I wonder, you know, if they have to go and practice a couple times at 28,
yeah,
you know, because that first round, you know, they've got to go 28 off, and, you know, normally that's not what they start at.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. You'd say, oh, well, if they could start at 32, they can start at 38. Well, it's a whole different timing issue. You know, you got to make sure you get through those gates, and if you're not used to going at the longer line, yeah, I agree. They may, that may be is something they got to do before tournaments where they know head-to-head is going to be in action. But here we go, Anais Ahmad, 35 off. Ooh, a little stood up out of 1, but back in the game at 2, no problem. Around 3 ball, Anais Ahmad over to 4, and ripping that MC ski around 5 over to 6. And done out the gates. Anais Ahmad, 35 off.
Don't you agree that you and I could both agree on the fact that we would like to be able to see like these women. These women come up there and do enough. I like watching them.
Well, Ted, you've been traveling a lot. You know, saw you in Calgary. You were in Malibu Open. Unfortunately, I missed that one this year due to a wedding. What else do you have going on?
Well, gosh, I've been lucky enough to go to a lot. Of course, it started my summer at the Masters, which is just in my neck of the woods in Georgia. Hit up the Malibu, hit up the Calgary. I'm here this weekend. Unfortunately, missing the LA Night Jam in a couple weeks due to some family obligations. Would love to be there. But this, as far as I know, unless I get any last-minute calls, it's going to be my last stop of the year, which is great. More time on the water for me.
Yeah, definitely. With all that traveling, it's tough to get your rides in as well.
Actually, hit up the Atlanta ProAm as well. Don't want to forget about that one, too. My buddy George Oapser put that one on right after the Masters. That was an easy trip. It was on the way back to Callaway. So here's Whitney at 38 off, ripping that Radar Vapor, double Radar Vapor boots. Signature series for her on the boots with the pink boots going on out there. Around 6 and out the gates. 38 off for Whitney McClintock. Solid skiing from Miss Radar right there. The queen of radar, if you will. Whitney McClintock.
That's right. Like you mentioned, can kind of spot April just with her style. You can always spot Whitney with all that pink.
And between the pink and the wave.
And the wave.
She's the best waver on the tour these days. You know what? I'm not making fun of her by any means. It works for her. Sometimes I go out when no one else is watching and I try to wave and see if I can turn like that. It hasn't worked yet, though.
Yeah, she's obviously got it down and it's working for her. She's had a lot of success.
All right. Well, hey, all those out there watching, if you want to have any questions, any shout-outs, I'm sitting here with Brian Detrick. We're watching Pro Women's Slalom right here. Hit me up on Twitter, TADDH2OZ, TADDH2OZ. Would love to hear from you. We've heard from Dubai. We've heard from Istanbul. We've heard from the UK, Canada, of course, the States. Keep them coming in, TADDH2OZ, but keep your eyes on the screen right now. Anais Ahmad on the water, 38 off the line. Nice turnaround, too. She's got a little headwind here, maybe helping her out. Oh, no. Skips the ski around 4. Oh, no. Gets undone around... skipped it around 4. Gets undone around 4. And going to be 4:38 for Anais. So she is done for the day. Whitney McClintock moves on. And, Brian, I feel like we've read this story before. Regina versus Whitney in the super final. It happens time and time again. These two fiercest of competitors, and for a while there, they were trading the world record, and Regina has got it in her grasp right now. But Whitney, as you said, coming back off that injury last year, is just kind of getting her bearings, taking the Calgary Shootout title, and looking to back it up with a Diablo Short title here this weekend.
Yeah, that's right. They've been battling out, over the last few years, and obviously it's good to see, Whitney healthy again, and see Whitney and Regina battle it out in these finals. Both ladies running 39 yesterday, so hopefully they can do it again and give the crowd and you guys all over the world on the webcast a great show.
April Koval-Eller in third place with a 1:39. Whitney and Regina, number 1 against number 2. These girls only had about a half buoy between them.
We're almost 2/3 of the way through today's competition.
There's only 3/4 of a buoy in average between the two of these skiers in the preliminary round.
Unlike the master man, the women.
All right, well, here we go. Whitney versus Regina in the super final. Number 1 seed versus number 2 seed. A little different than what we saw on our Masters men's side of things when we had a 6 versus 8. Now we got 1 versus 2. And, let's face it, over the past 3 to 4 years, the top 2 women's slalomers in the world. They've been trading titles, here and there. Karen took a title last year at the Calgary Shootout, but for the most part, it's been Whitney and Regina. And it's going to be them again here this weekend. Who's going to take it, I don't know. We did see Regina. She just tied the world record just about 15, 20 minutes ago. But Whitney capable of getting to that 3 as well. So pending. But we will see here coming up soon, Whitney versus Regina in the super final here. 2013 Diablo Shores Pro-Am. Big thanks to all our sponsors, most definitely Mastercraft Boats, Nautique Boats, D3 Skis, Good Skis, Eagle Sports, Storley Insurance Agency, and many, many more. But look at this. We're getting things moving again. Regina Jake was on the water, choosing to go out first, making Whitney beat her. Second skier must beat first skier's score. So Regina out there at 32 off the line, making it no problem at all.
Another show of supremacy, right? You can ski behind any boat, any driver, doesn't matter.
Looks like Whitney's going to get her Nautique again.
Yep.
I mean, I'd imagine, Regina being the top seed, chose out to go first. Whitney, gets to pick that Nautique, which she's very comfortable with.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brian. I think that was probably the strategy there. And another tweet from Rich Forrest. Oh, Rich, you met Kyle. I feel bad for you. At the Roselle Kamai Ski Club, apparently having some zero-off trouble in this 130-degree heat. Well, I'll see if I can talk with Freddie about that and see if he can't help you out. Over in Dubai, they're having some speed control issues in the 130-degree heat. Not sure if their sensors are melting or what. I don't know if I would be out there. And sitting right near us, Brian, is Matt Brown. And I got a question for Matt here in just a sec that I saw on Twitter. But here comes Whitney, 32 off the line. All pinked out. On the pink vapor, pink boots, pink radar gloves, pink shorts. And Whitney, an extension of that second set she had as she was just on the water a few moments ago. But Matt, I got a question for you. I see you sitting over there. Actually saw your name on Twitter right here. John Horton tweeted, "Why does Dirt hate Matt Brown?"
I'm not sure why Dirt hates me. I think he's referring to the Kevin Bishop discrepancy on whether he made it around 5-ball at 39 or not. But really, to me, it's irrelevant because even if he didn't get outside of it, which they said on the video it looked like he did, he was closer to the buoy than I was anyway. So I figure he was the better skier on that set, so that's justice enough for me.
That's a good judgment. Very fair judgment. I appreciate that, Matt. All right, well, here we go. Regina Jake was coming back behind that Mastercraft Pro Star. She's ripping her good Nano NXT with the good Power Shell boots. Let's check her out as she takes a turn in. 35 off for Regina Jake was nice little tailwind going on right here. 7-8 miles an hour. Over to 2. Coming into 3-ball, around 4 for Regina. Over to 5, and Regina Jake was around 6 and out the gates. And some more shout-outs from the fields of Indiana. Andrew Winters giving him a shout-out to Nate Smith, one of Nate's buddies from Indiana, watching us online. Thank you, Andrew. All right, Brian, and looks like the U.S. Under-21 team won the gold medal.
Nice.
So
that's
congrats
awesome
to the
news.
U.S. team winning the team gold right there. So it's a solid skiing by our U.S. Under-21 skiers. Congrats to you guys. Hopefully now you're tuning into the webcast and watching over here. I bet you, our Under-21 Slalom champ, Stephen Neveu, potentially our bronze guy, Tyler Yeager, probably watching online right now maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Both those guys have skied in this event in the past, especially, Tyler, trains at Shortline and with my neighbors, Will and Elaine Bush. And, they're definitely tuning in, probably wishing they were here, but, they both skied well. Steven winning, Tyler getting third.
Yeah.
That's a huge placement for Tyler.
Okay, well, here we go. Whitney McClintock, 35 off. Big turn at 1. And great turn at round 2. Over to 3-ball. She's waving at the crowd at 4. And coming around 5, Whitney McClintock, not a problem at all. around 6, back to the wakes and out the gates. And Brian, a shout out for you on Twitter from Scott Mason. Yesterday, your crash was awesome, buddy. Scott, loving it, loving the webcast, and loving seeing my friend here, Brian, get hurt. I don't think that was very nice of you, Scott.
Well, thanks, Scott. Luckily, the body's doing okay this morning. Surprisingly, was able to get some ice, get some ibuprofen yesterday, and I think definitely has helped me out today. Actually just received a phone call, one of my massage therapists that I've been seeing this year that's really helped me out and, helped me get back with, I had a little tweak or just preventing from injuries occurring. Called, said she's going to be here. She's going to have a table and kind of work on me, hopefully get me back quick here in this next couple weeks.
It is beyond me. Well, of course, we have a lot of sponsorship within the industry, but trying to get outside sponsorship, Thomas DeGasperi got 5 Hour Energy. It is beyond me why a water skier hasn't been sponsored by some sort of ibuprofen company. I mean, water skiers in general probably use as much or more ibuprofen per capita than most other people out there. But let's check out Regina Jaquist on the water, 38 off. Again, a little 6, 7, 8 mile an hour headwind for Regina. Doesn't seem to be affecting her at all on this one. And she gets around 6 and out the gates at 38 off for Regina Jaquist. But let's get back to that. Why is a pro water skier not sponsored by Motrin, by Bayer, by Tylenol, by Aleve? It's just, it seems simple mathematics. If I saw a pro skier sponsored by one of them, I'd go out and buy that product just because they sponsored that person. Maybe not because I like that person, but just because they're supporting the sport. And you could probably pull. I imagine a lot of these people water ski out here or do some sort of water
definitely.
sport. I bet you we could pull all of them, and within the last 2 weeks, they have taken some sort of ibuprofen product.
I'd have to agree. With seeing my massage therapist and chiropractor, they say by far water skiers are the worst they've seen. I've been able to refer a couple water skiers, Paul Crawford and Michaela Haw, also seeing the massage therapist, and she treats a lot of CrossFit athletes. CrossFit's brutal as well, but they're going in one direction. We're being pulled all over the place, and I may take your advice and maybe start sending some emails.
I know. Think about it. It's simple mathematics. Here we go. Whitney McClintock, 38 off. She's got to run this pass if she wants to keep up with Regina. A little bit of wheelie at 2. Makes it up around 3. She waves to the far shore at 4, over to 5. Little gust of wind at 5, and a little hit out of 5, but not enough to stop her from getting around 6. So Whitney McClintock, Regina Jaquist, both run 38 off. We're going to see 39 coming up in a tailwind, Brian, and a healthy tailwind at that. The gust maybe almost 10 miles an hour, but a solid 6 to 8 mile an hour tailwind right here coming up for the ladies.
Yeah, a little gust, picking up. Nice head tail. That was a huge 5-ball there for Whitney. Looked like she might have come off the handle just a tad early, and that headwind kind of stood her up, brought her in a little narrow, and, she just hammered that turn. But, veteran as she is, stayed composed and did what it took to get over 6 and out the gates.
I'll tell you what, Brian. This is our super final right here. I don't know if we're relaying it across properly at home. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat right now. I'm excited. I'm nervous for these young ladies. Plus, we're 39 off. I mean, come on.
It doesn't get better than this, Tad.
Here we go. Regina Jaquist, 39 off. Do have a slight tail breeze. It's picking up by the minute. Huge turnaround 1, but gets over to 2. Little loose line out of 2. Around 3. Here you go. Regina Jaquist over to 4. And can she do it back-to-back rounds? Ladies and gentlemen, yes, she can. Regina Jaquist running 39 again. You've got to be kidding me, Brian.
Unbelievable. 4 rounds in a row. And that start, I mean, unbelievable. She went so hard at a 1, lost the line at 2, then had a huge 3, put her back into it by 4, out of 4 into 5. She's patient again and just, waiting for 6 ball. Unbelievable skiing.
Unbelievable. She is dialed in. And I spoke with her a little bit yesterday, she talking about balancing her time between the pharmacy and skiing, and with this being a World's year as well, it's extending the season for everybody. And you know, if she keeps up on this way, you know, not only can we see a world record go down, go down, but you know, another title to her name. One girl stands in between her and the Diablo Shores title, and she's on the water right now at 39 off. Can she match it? She ran it yesterday. Whitney McClintock into the course at 39. Here she goes, coming around one. Solid one, not great. Over to two. Oh, no. Ekes around two, goes down around two. Whitney McClintock, 1.5 at 39, which means Regina Jaquist is your 2013 Diablo Shores Women's Champ. Now, Brian, is she done? Will she
I don't think so.
Take a shot at it again?
She's got to take a shot. You know, Regina always likes to, you know, please the crowd. She just ran 3, had a great start at 41 in the last round. You know, I'd like to see her get to 4 and, you know, have another pending world record out there.
All right, we'll wait and see if Regina comes back up. But I got one quick thing before she skis. Hold on. Okay, Brian, so she's still in the water. She's potentially going to go for it again. Let's be realistic with the folks at home. She's a Malibu-sponsored skier. Is she going to break the record behind another boat? I don't know.
You never know.
I'll be realistic. You're not supposed to say that.
It depends on the contracts. You know,
yeah.
So I know some people's contract, if it's, you know, a purse over $10,000, then, you know, that's waived and they're still able to get all their bonuses. And not sure if there's a bonus prize for the world record here.
Well, here we go. Regina Jaquist coming to the course at 41. She's already tied the current record. Big turn, gets a big hit around one, and that's going to be all she wrote. But what skiing from the young lady, from the champ, Regina Jaquist, 1 at 41. And Brian, I know you're not supposed to say anything like that, but come on. Nobody's stupid. Everybody at home knows what's going on. She tied her current ratified world record with 3. There's no big deal in that. She does have a pending world record with 3.5. And that was, of course, behind a Malibu. So you got to kind of put 2 and 2 together here. I'm sure she would have gone for it. And, you know, I would have loved to seen her get around 3 and just ski over at 4 and let go or whatever. I wouldn't care. Just to know that she's capable, which I do know, but it's always nice to see it too.
Yeah, definitely. You know, there's always those, you know, kind of questions that you never know. Could be a factor that comes in and could not. But, you know, the crowd going wild over here.
All right, well, Regina taking a victory lap right here. Brian, we've got our champ, Regina Jaquist, in the women's division here at Diablo Shores. We're going to take about a 5 to 10 minute break, but don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be back live. Pro men's head-to-head final right here, 2013 Diablo Shores Pro-Am here at Belle Aqua in Rio Linda, California. Brian Detrick alongside. My name's Tad Schreiber. We'll see you in just a few minutes for our Pro men's final.
We could extol the virtues of the Ski Nautique 200 open bow hull. Nautique is the only company who has designed an open bow boat for your family that compromises nothing when it comes to the amazing wakes behind the boat or the plush ride inside it. After all, what other open bow tournament ski boat do you know of that is the proud owner of multiple world records? We could brag about the impeccable handling, the comfort of the ride, and the room to bring friends. Or we could simply dispense the formalities and tell you to jump in, put the throttle down, and enjoy the most dedicated open bow ski ride of your life. This is the only open bow on the market identical in balance and wake to the Ski Nautique 200 closed bow, which produces the flattest, softest world record-setting wakes in the industry. Sacrifice nothing in performance behind the Ski Nautique 200 open bow and achieve the family-friendly space for 9 with incredible storage. For 2013, we captured the progressive, striking gel line so popular from today's motorsports world and incorporated that feel onto our boats. The redesigned interior is as much of a focal point as our graphics. The cetacean texture, incredible stitch lines, and rich leanbacks will guarantee that your ride inside the 200 open bow will be as amazing as the ride behind it.
You could spend 2 weeks changing the bottom of the boat and get all into it and like super emotionally attached to this whole thing. Flip it over, rig it up, go run it, and in 3 wake crossings, I know if it's, good or not. And 9.9 times out of 10, it's not much better. That's when the passion kicks in. Instead of going home and forgetting about it for the weekend, that's when the wheels start turning even faster. And I think the passion at the end of the day is what really allowed us to overcome the challenges that we're facing. It's passion that gets it done.
From a technological standpoint, it's going to pull the industry forward, and it's going to show what's capable, what's coming, and where the sport really can continue to go. We're there, we're scratching the surface, and I just feel like this boat is a platform to take it to the next level.
When Mastercraft redesigned the 190, 197 back in the early 2000s, I don't have the exact number, but I know that development process was over 2 years, and I think that's just what it takes.